I smile at a lot of things, including bogus questions from the media, man.
Any icy response from Republican vice presidential nominee JD Vance is going to get some news. And guess what? It was aimed at our own Charlie Langton. JD Vance was also in Metro Detroit today, where he spoke at a private event at the Shelby Township Police Department.
On Fox News, Charlie Langton, as we said, was there. And this is going viral or getting a lot of attention. What'd you ask here, Charlie?
I think it's got a million or a couple million. Here's the question. It's very simple. What makes you smile? What makes you happy? And the reason I asked that question was because there have been some criticism of him being just too serious and even a little bit angry. And it's even not, I don't know where that's coming from. There's some people out there. But even so, he talked today to a group of about 50 people, invited politicians from the Republican Party and donors. That was it. And he met with them privately. Okay, very good. And then there were about 50 media people. So basically, he spoke for about 45 minutes, pretty much asking questions, or answering questions anyway. And all these are very serious policy questions about the war in the Middle East and immigration and defunding the police. He was out on the police steps there. But I just wanted to just kind of break the ice a little bit. What makes you happy? What makes you smile?
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a look at how he answered it. The question for vice presidential candidate JD Vance was, what makes you smile?
Well, I smile at a lot of things, including bogus questions from the media, man.
I didn't think that was a bogus question, yet some people have criticized the 40-year-old vice presidential candidate for being too serious when he appeared at an invite-only briefing at the Shelby Township Police Department.
Right now, I am angry about what Kamala Harris has done to this country and done to the American southern border.
Illegal immigration, a popular topic.
I can't believe that anyone would actually think that you should open up the American southern border to all of these criminals. You should let them commit crimes in our communities, and then you should refuse to deport them afterwards, and that's exactly what Kamala Harris has done.
Vance spoke at the Shelby Township Police Department, and policing, another top priority.
It is a policy choice to defund the police, which is what Kamala Harris wants to do.
I think that the Democrats really want to defund the police, not fund them?
You use their own words to their, they talk about defunding the police, reimagining the police.
Why do you think the race is so close?
I think the race is close because the stories people have been getting from the media have frankly been slanted. That's why
it's our fault.
But you know what? The local guys tend to do a good job shooting straight.
Can he relate to the American people?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is a guy that came from the bottom and entered into the U.S. Senate. I think so, absolutely.
And going back to what makes him smile?
And I think most Americans can joke around, but also be pissed off about the direction of this country.
All right, so anyway, it's a good
Well, here's the definition: bogus, not genuine or true, fake. You were being very true.
Listen, listen, we've all done many interviews here. Sometimes it's not the question, it's the answer that we really want. And I think that, listen, this is the President of the United States, and listen, these are very serious issues, and I don't mean to make light of these very serious issues. I get it. But we also, I think, want a president who is humanized, who's personable. And I'm not saying he wasn't. There were a few jokes in there. And you don't have to be gut-wrenching, slapstick funny. But I think you do have to, can you relate? And I think that is a big issue in both campaigns, but especially in this campaign. We're just getting to know him. He's 40 years old. Hasn't had time to be that man.
Well, he could have said my family, anything, right?
Anything to make you smile.
But still, that was the answer.
And this is going to be a huge contrast because you have Walz, who's new to the Harris ticket, who's a military guy, a school teacher, this down-to-earth guy, and here you have him at a police department saying, hey, we're about law and order here. So there's going to be an interesting juxtaposition between those two men as they try to compete with each other.
And I get when you're in front of listen, the police do a very difficult job. I love the police. They do it's a hard job, and very often it's a very sad job and a very challenging job. But there's still an amount of personal, and I just wanted to see a personal. I wanted him to tell a story about himself. And that's it. And I didn't mean anything. I don't think it was a bogus question. I think it is something that, again, what's your personality? Because you're going to have situations where personality and sympathy will play a role in how you govern.
And to credit to President Trump, I've asked him questions, we've asked him questions like that, I've asked him questions like that, and you get a laugh, you get a smile, and sometimes you get a funny response. So you were simply doing what everybody does when you interview somebody at that stature. But
so you asked bogus questions too.
I guess I did.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, it was interesting. You made everybody smile and have some fun on social media today. Charlie Langton for us.
Thank you.
No harm.